Hey guys, it's Shane, back for another preview here on WD18. This time, the Golden Boys are heading to the South Coast to take on Southampton in a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Unfortunately, I won't be at the game due to prior work commitments, but looking forward to following the game, and we'll hopefully be doing an Insta Live reaction as well afterwards, so stay tuned for that as well if you are on your way. If you're on your way back from the game or you are unable to make the game, tune in and we'll have a chat about the game. But looking ahead to the fixture, an interesting one really for Watford, I guess, coming into this, having had the rather disappointing game last weekend, the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. I should first say to everyone, as there was no reaction from me after that game, really. I feel for all the fans that made the trip, a very long trip, getting up incredibly early to watch that. Golden Boys only having one shot on target. It's just not good enough. So many chances created, so many chances wasted. I look back at, I think, maybe two in particular. I think a lot of people point out Maps as well for missing a big chance. That was a big chance, but not as big as De La Feu's one. In that first half, I should be getting that on target. And then we have everyone's favourite prolific striker, Stefano Akaka, who just, I don't even know what he was doing for that. I don't know if he was, trying to aim for the Watford fans in like the upper tier or something. I have no idea. It was such a terrible, terrible shot. He should at least be getting that on target. He's a striker. It's not too difficult to ask, is it? And ultimately we lose 1-0 in a game where I thought it was a banker that we'd get 3 points. Newcastle was struggling. Hadn't won a game all season, and of course their first win of the first win of the season was going to be against Watford. Of course, it was just written in the stars, wasn't it? Big bit of disappointing news was Etienne Capoue picking up another yellow card. Means he is suspended for this weekend's game. You'd expect Chalobah to come straight back in again. I know he came off the bench against Newcastle. I would expect Chalobah to come in again for Capoue. Also some really positive news this week in regards to injury news, and that is the news of Tom Cleverley returning to training. He's training with the first team. Javi has said today, however, that the game against Southampton will come too early for him, which is a shame, really, because I think we really have. I mean, from my perspective, I've missed seeing him play. Have we actually missed him in that centre of midfield? I think that's a little bit debatable. I'd argue Capoue, Doucouré. I think especially Etienne Capoue has stepped up in that midfield role. Doucouré's performances for me were at a bit of a stage where they were declining, but I think he's picked that up again. Troy Deeney is back fit and should be in the squad for the Southampton game. Whether or not he starts, I don't know. For me, Isaac's success looked okay against Newcastle. Again, it's just didn't really get the lucky break. In fact, actually, he was the only player. He was the player in the team that actually got our only shot on target, which produced a good save by Martin Dubravka in the Newcastle goal. So, would you start with Isaac's success? Does Troy Deeney come back in again? Is Andre Gray going to look in? Yeah, okay, we might as well throw it in there. Does Akaka get a look in? No. It's a tough decision for Javi. It's the first time, I think he's even made the comments today in his press conference, it's the first time in a while where we've got an almost fully fit squad. I think it's actually, in fact, I've got the article here just so I don't misquote it. When Javi first arrived in January, there were 12 players with injury doubts. There are now only 2 with Yamat and Prodal out. So that's fantastic. Things medically have kind of looked up for us. Some people calling potentially for Habasolo to come back into the side again. Holebas started against Newcastle. I thought that was a wrong decision. I thought Messina should have started. I'm not sure what Messina had really done to get dropped. And alright, okay, he was getting, Wolves' attacking players and Huddersfield's attacking players were kind of getting in on that right hand side. But I thought Messina did alright, when he was playing there. I didn't think he deserved to be dropped for Holebas. I hope Messina comes back in again actually on Saturday. In regards to the defence, I'd actually keep Maps. I think we need a leader. I think we need something of like a captain's influence in there as well. I think he's captained the side really well the last couple of games, and I'm a big fan of Maps. Some people calling for us to go 2 up top again. I think that might be right. I think if we maybe go 2 up top, we can worry the Southampton defenders a lot more. We'll go on to Southampton in just a little bit, but if I was to pick the 2 lads up top, I would probably go for Troy I'd probably go for Troy and Isaac for some reason. I don't know. I just think success maybe could benefit from someone in Troy as like a striker up top. Ultimately, though, we may go one up front again. Put Isaac at success up top. I think he's the only guy out of the strikers that can play one up top. I think if you start Troy, you need to play him with a partner. Same applies as well with Andre. Troy and Andre returning up front, however, does look like a big possibility, and it is one that I would absolutely back. So, lot of things for Harry to consider. In regards to the opposition on Saturday, talk about Newcastle needing their first win before last weekend's game. Southampton are in need of a desperate revival in their season. Their last results, 6-1 thrashing against Manchester City. I mean, City were 3 up inside 20 minutes or something, 18-20 minutes. City were all over them, and I guess no team's going to be judged by how well they play City or teams like Liverpool this season, for example. But it just shows you can so easily cut open that defence. In fact, actually, I've got their stats here. The last time they've actually won a game was the 1st of September, a 2-0 away win against Palace. Since then, it's been a spread of draws. Drawing 0-0 as well against Newcastle. That was a result that really didn't help them in what was potentially a must-win for both sides. A 0-0 draw against Bournemouth, a 3-0 away defeat to a 3-0 home defeat to Chelsea. They've been on a shocking run of form, really. A couple of draws on their moment, predominantly losses. And that's what worries me about the game this weekend, because Southampton, again, will have looked at this game and, would have seen how we failed to break down, how we failed to take our chances against Newcastle. They'll be sitting there thinking, look, listen, if Newcastle beat them and if Watford weren't really on their form, then, hang on, can we try and get something in this game? They've got dangerous players. For me, I'm a big fan of some of their players in there. I look at someone like Danny Ings. People question the price of him. For me, he's a dangerous player. Absolutely no doubt about it. And, whatever you think of, as I say, the price and so on, that was paid for him. I think he's been quite quiet, but he can quite easily come to life. They've got a few other tricky players in there as well. They've not really performed, though, this season. That's where I think Watford could really kind of get their joy. I mean, especially defensively. Listen, I'm sorry, 20 Southampton fans watching, they've been shocking defensively. And I'd be very, very surprised if we don't find the back of the net against them. At least with Newcastle, they couldn't really score goals, and their defence were a bit iffy. But with Southampton, they're shipping goals like anything. I predicted an easy win against Newcastle. I don't dare predict the outcome of this game. I want to get a win as much as the next person, but I'm so wary of not so much the opposition, but of us and some of our downfalls, really, and some of the pitfalls of us, because we are an incredibly inconsistent side. A win before the international break would be good, because looking ahead, we've got some very tough matches. A home to Liverpool, back of the Vic after international break, after what seems like ages since we were there for the Huddersfield game. And then we go away to Leicester. It's away to Everton, which is a big game. And then, of course, home to Manchester City as well. So 2 big games coming up at the Vic against two of the top 2 sides, let's face it. And then, of course, 2 very tricky away games, of course, Leicester and Everton, who will be very, very tough sides to kind of break down, especially Everton as well, with all the stuff that's gone on with them. And so Southampton away for me is a perfect chance for us to get 3 points, a good chance for us to get back to winning ways, really. As I say, I was very disappointed about the Newcastle game. The reason why I keep going on about that game is just because those kind of performances are actually more common than people actually think with us. We are highly inconsistent, so I'm just hoping that we kind of turn things around Saturday. I hope the players respond. That's what I really want, really, and hopefully more than one shot on target. Otherwise it will be terrible, really. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this preview. Jacob and Robin will be at St Mary's on Saturday afternoon, so head on down after the game to share your post-match thoughts with the guys. All the other regulars will be down there as well. From me, I will see you guys after the international break at home to Liverpool. Don't forget to join me on Insta as well for a live reaction after the game. That should be really good. But for now, come on, you Horns.